Hey, what's going on, guys? Episode 9 of slashff. Unfortunately, this week, Skieco could not make it. He had some business plans to attend to. Tinder, probably.
Probably.
With me today is the other usual guy. Would you like to introduce yourself, Michael?
What's up, guys? I am Michael. I am a soon-to-be diamond jungler, hopefully. And you can find me on my Twitch and my Twitter
And
at
on my YouTube
lawsofphysix.
channel, in our Chicken Tender Mukbang, which is coming out pretty
Has that
soon.
not been released yet?
It comes out tomorrow if you look at the premiere date.
Alright.
Tomorrow, as in this is being recorded Tuesday night. Anyways, this is Slash FF episode 9. We held off till this week because I mean, mostly like we were busy last week, but also I wanted to get all the playoffs rounded off because this
Yep.
next week is going to be the NA and or not NA, but the LCS and LEC playoffs, and LCK and LPL are mostly decided for the most part. We know generally what the teams are going to be. So yeah, let's just hop into Lek My Balls because we've been sitting on this for 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Europe is super interesting.
Fnatic with the Miracle Run. They have so much plot armor right now.
It's so unreal how much fucking plot armor they have.
They are yeah. It was like pretty much They're the TSM of EU. Like the storylines for I love how the storylines for LCS and LEC have like, you have G2, which is like TL. It's like the team that was put together, like the really strong roster.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh shit. Then you have like OG. It's kind of like C9 where it's like they've been closing it and then in the second place. And then you have this team that is like
Stopped in the beginning.
yeah, the king, but they're the kings of the country, right? So
Yeah.
like the kings of EU, well, the continent, I guess, but the
Yeah.
kings of
Kings of
EU,
the region, I guess.
yeah, North America's continent, kings of the continent. There you go. TSM, Fnatic, the third place team, just coming up hot, and then you have a team like SK, which is like the
The FlyQuest.
I would have said SK is more like Optic. Fox. No, Fox would have been more like if Rogue got in. Honestly,
Yeah.
SK is more like Optic, but the difference is SK made it and Optic didn't. So,
SK has a top laner and Optic does
yeah.
not, is the difference.
Yeah, so there you go. But no, LEC obviously happening this weekend. Playoff format is very exciting, but that's not going to be gotten into until the next week, unfortunately. So starting now, we do have Fnatic versus Vitality and Splice versus SK, with the obvious that like the people who were expecting to win is going to be Fnatic and Splice is like the predicted winners for the most part. But I think both of these teams have upset potential.
Yes, I agree, 100%. I think if out of those two, I think Splice SK has more volatility for upset because yes, Splice did win against G2 without going for the late team fights or 6 items. They won the proactive team comp,
Yep.
but that's their first time they've been doing this out of all split. If they can keep it up, then I think they have a really good chance to get SK. But if SK can just bully them with Crown Shot on like the really aggro jungler, or just do like their bot lane, I think SK has a really good chance of winning that matchup.
Yeah, so I think one of the things is like SK's bot lane has been improving, Crown Shot, and then obviously Self-Made, their jungler, has been very, very good. The big thing that I wanted to like at least mention is like I don't know too much about EU, but
Yeah.
after watching a lot of like Listen Loco and like a bunch of EU people talk, Fnatic's main objective picking Vitality was that they actually felt Vitality was more predictable than SK because they felt like it was extremely difficult to understand what SK was doing. I mean, in the regular season, SK was 2-0 on Fnatic. I mean, Fnatic did improve after all, but they said it was extremely hard to predict Self-Made, and that even though Vitality is this very volatile team in terms of they're very aggressive, they're going to force you. Fnatic has shown that they actually can withstand early game. In fact, they actually played toward early game a lot, such as in the G2 best of one in the final week. So it makes sense why Fnatic is picking Vitality if that's their logic going into it. But definitely tread with caution there because Vitality, again, very volatile, very aggressive. A lot can happen.
No, Vitality is a weird team because I think Cabochard can match Bwipo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My biggest issue is can they just like handle Jizuke like saying, I'm gonna play this like really lane dominant like mid laner and I'm gonna keep going for outplays on you. Because I don't think that Vitality's bot lane is anywhere near as good as Reckless.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vitality's bot lane like definitely is the weak point on the map because
out of the EU bot lanes, they're good, but I actually think like Reckless and Hilly have been playing really well as of late. So I'm not sure like if they're good enough to beat them.
I feel like when Jizuke takes the coin flip, like he has a lot of pressure, whereas when the bot lane takes the coin flip, they can actually single-handedly just lose a lot of everything. Like Jizuke, if he gets behind, it fucking sucks for the team, but he has a lot of side lane pressure. I mean, this is just comes with the territory of being a mid laner or picking certain champions like LeBlanc or Fizz. Like sometimes when you play side waves correctly, you will still have a lot of pressure. Whereas the bot lane, if you're coin flipping bot lane, you are gonna have a lot of issues into the mid game. So.
So I also think like Mildly will also make a big difference in the series if he can like be able to neutralize Broxa.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't think this series will be close. I think it's 3-1 Fnatic. I think the one game, like I'm giving the leniency of one game, but by not close, I just mean like Fnatic, I think will actually play to early game better than Vitality will, in the sense that I think they're just going to play more intelligently, and then Vitality, once they get behind, they're also not like an extreme late game team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's a close series. I think over a 3-game series, it's very straightforward what Fnatic, at least going into what we've seen this split, what Fnatic needs to do to take down.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think Vitality will actually take the first game off, and then Fnatic's like, oh, this is your game plan the entire time, and then we'll just 3-0 them right afterwards.
Right. And even so, like even if Vitality prepares multiple things, I don't know what it is. Like I don't know what their team could possibly play toward, because they have really just shown this one style where they have Jizuke force a lot, and if Jizuke can't just smash through mid lane, then he's going to go pressure the side wave. And this is an NA, you know, LEC knows how to handle side wave very well. So that's it's not 100% going to work every time.
Yeah, I agree.
Splice and SK, you know, I'll just straight up, like, this is one of the ones I know least of. Like, I don't know very much about any of these teams.
I don't know. I know a little bit about Splice. SK, I watched on and off.
Yeah.
Like, let me double check SK's roster real quick.
So SK is Crownshot, Purian, Self-Made, Whirlybee, and one more. I don't.
Whirlib. And James is their support. And it's Splice. Just touch. Okay, look at these matchups.
In theory, Splice should win, right?
In theory, Splice has wins. I think Humanoid is better than Purian, and I think Vitachi is better than Whirlib.
Yeah.
But holy shit, I fucking love Self-Made.
Yeah.
I love Self-Made. I love Crown Shot, and I think they're better than their counterparts.
Okay.
So I think like there's different power points on the map. I wonder if it's going to be a matchup of not whose two is better, but whose two can lose better, if that makes sense. So the weaker of the two, who can like lose more gracefully.
So who can just absorb pressure pretty much.
Yeah.
Like you being the weak link, like can you sustain for your team? Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, my prediction is just purely based on the standings. Is that saying Splice wins based on standings? But I have no knowledge as to these teams really. So I have not.
Again, I feel like because Splice always plays for late game, and they've only shown that one game against G2 where they played early. And Self-Made is, you know, that aggro EU jungler, always in your face, always looking for picks. If they can handle the early game storm by Self-Made, then I think they win. But they don't, and they crumble, then SK has it.
So at their current performance, since we've pretty much gotten this week of playoffs through, do you think Fnatic can take any of the other two teams then in the next week? Because I think Fnatic...
I think they beat Origin. I think they lose to G2.
No. I'm not talking about Origin. I just mean like in the next week, because they're going to play the winner of Splice, Splice SK. And I think Fnatic, again, with their recent uptrend, seem very strong.
I think Fnatic has that easily.
All right.
Fnatic
so they move into the top two. So then we need to talk about the G2 Origin matchup.
Yeah. That one's interesting. That one's really interesting.
I actually think G2 will fix a lot of their issues going into
playoffs. I do too. But Origin plays...
Origin's very intelligent.
They play a very smart style.
Mithy knows what he's doing. He's gotten back into a comfortable, he's gotten back into the role of things.
It's Patrick, right?
Krusty Krab Patrick is he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna be working in the Krusty Krab now. You know, he knows what he's doing. I don't know.
I think if that's the case, it's really. I think Wonder just beats the shit out of Alfari though.
Yeah, I think Wonder is much better than Alfari. That's true. If Wonder plays in its current form and G2 fixes their issues, I think they can take it.
It's Cold, right? Cold's a jungler for OG.
Cold's been pretty good though. Cold
has
played pretty well.
Yankos is also real good.
But Yankos showed better performance when his solo lanes were dominant. So I think if they fix their issues, Yankos will look dominant again. It's just.
I think the hype matchup is the Caps and Nuke Duck one. I think that's a real hype matchup. I think that's what decides the series.
Yeah.
Because it also depends. Are they playing Promise Q or are they playing Mickey X?
So they want to play Mickey X, but they're unsure yet because of the injury.
Yeah.
They're assuming that the injury should be good by playoffs, but if not, they'll need Promise Q. If it's
If they play Promise Q, I think
then-
Origin has a really good chance of taking this all the way.
Origin's bot lane's much better if they have to have Promise Q.
Yeah.
Mickey X actually does a lot of work for the G2 bot lane. Like
like understanding pressure, understanding like because like Promise Q wasn't bad, but he wasn't as good as Mickey X. Like Promise Q had random ints on the Alistar game.
According to Mickey X, he actually taught a lot, like perks a lot of the things in bot lane too. So I'm assuming Mickey X has a lot of like I don't know agency in what they do in that lane.
Yeah, definitely. So. If that rumor is true, then yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that if G2 can fix their issues, it should be. But I really, again, LEC not my forte. So just based on like standings and what their previous performance was, I would assume that G2, given their player potential, like player by player, they're much stronger than Origin. It seems.
I think Wonder's worth 2 Alfaris, to be honest.
I don't know if he's worth 2 Alfaris, but Wonder definitely had like an upswing in his because the rest of the map was falling apart. Wonder really had to carry a load on his back.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then Fnatic versus one of these teams. I don't know, man.
Oh, that's such a toss-up. That's
Fnatic
so. Fnat's also upswing, but
you know what?
if G2
we'll save,
like,
all right, we'll have.
Let's do that next week.
Yeah, let's save this for after we see Fnatic how Fnatic performs in the other matches, because I think Fnatic, you know, definitely can beat the other quarterfinal teams, but I don't know about how they'll do in I don't know against the other 2 top teams.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on to NA, let's go to LCK.
Yeah.
LCK is pretty much locked in this week.
The return of Griffin.
So we're going into the final week. Griffin's locked in first. SKT is locked in second. Third and fourth is Kingzone and Sandbox. They are not locked in yet, I believe. They can swap places. Fifth locked in is Damwon. Hanwha is locked in at sixth. And then 7, 8, 9 is Afrika, KT, and Gen.G. They can all still get sent to relegation. And 10th place is Jin Air. And Jin Air faces SKT and Griffin this week.
Oh god, oh god, that's not nice for Jin Air.
Yeah, so
I mean,
Jin Air is obviously getting sent to relegation. I mean, they're already locked in for relegation, and then Smeb has not been playing either for KT. Smeb has been boom.
AFK.
UCal's not been playing for Afrika. UCal's boom.
Dude, get Keen a real team. Please.
You know, Keen took the Teddy curse. Teddy left, and then he put the curse onto Keen, and now Keen has to play for a shitty team. Man, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with those teams.
Please get Keen a real team. He deserves it. He's playing so well, too.
Yeah.
He's playing so good.
Imagine Keen on Kingzone.
Wow. Shit, that should be real good. That'd be a real scary team.
Even Flame on Kingzone would be an upgrade to Rascal.
Would you take Keen over Khan at the moment?
I would take Keen over Khan only for flexibility, but Khan actually has... dude, that's so... Because here's the problem, right? Oh. Khan... Okay, I like Khan in the sense that, like, he's actually a direction that they can play toward if Mata's not a huge issue. Like, if Mata is willing to, like, be low econ with Teddy, then it's not an issue because they play toward Khan then. I think if you were to make a lineup with, like, Keen, Faker, and Teddy... you would have this lineup that's like actually flexible in all 3 lanes in terms of if they want to get resources or if they don't. And the problem though is that like you end up having to figure out what you have to do. Whereas if you have Khan, you actually have a very straightforward way to play through. Now I said at the beginning of the season, I could see this being a huge issue if Mata wants to be played toward, because that was the whole issue with the KT super team was that Smeb, Mata, and Deft. Mata and Deft had a completely different idea of how they wanted to play from Smeb. So we know that like a carry top was not going to work with like Deft or Ruler, which is why Cuvee actually works a lot on Gen.G, because Cuvee doesn't care about getting resources. And that's why Rascal works with Deft. Smeb did not work with Deft. And Smeb always played with Prayrilla. He played with an aggressive mid and jungle, so the top side of the map was always the
focus. He had Kuro and Peanut.
Right. Like he was pretty much like, okay, top side of the map we go. Bot lane, don't feed. Like, that's what it was. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, Keen would work on a team that needs like a flexible top laner because he does everything well, and there just doesn't seem flaw in his gameplay. I also feel bad for BDD. He's stuck on KT right now.
But BDD's not even playing up to like his.
Yeah, he's not. But like, dude, KT sucks, and KT could really use Prey if they don't get relegated.
I don't think they'll be relegated. I hope they don't.
Dude,
But I don't think
okay,
they will.
well, alright, here's the thing though, right? I don't watch Korean Challenger, but Damwon, Sandbox, and Griffin all came through Korean Challenger.
Yeah. But Griffin also... Oh, no, Griffin's first split was real good. Never mind.
Griffin's first split was 13-5. They almost won the whole thing.
Yeah. Damwon is a playoff
Is
team.
in playoffs. Sandbox is in playoffs. Like,
Yeah, wait, shit, you're right.
yeah.
Now that I think about it, yeah, no, we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we will see. But yeah, we still have 1 week of LCK left.
I mean, fucking Condu Monster is still stuck in Challenger, so...
LCK pretty much this week is just going to matter and what teams get sent to relegation, so look forward to that. Other than that, not much to say about LCK. We can talk about potential playoff stuff next week, but I think SKT is going to take it all in playoffs. Just
really quick, though. Really quick theory on LCK.
Oh, yeah.
Griffin lost on purpose to fuck over KT.
Well, that segues into LPL, where people say IG lost on purpose to fuck with RNG.
Fuck over RNG.
Yeah, because okay, so what happened last night? IG lost to Bilibili Gaming, which actually sent RNG into potential not making into playoffs. But then RNG then LGD got an upset, and then now RNG's back with okay, so the teams that made it into playoffs now are...
Didn't RNG though lose to Sino Dragon or whatever?
They lost to some game. Sino Dragons, I think. But Sino Dragons also competing for playoffs right now. So the playoff lock-in teams are FunPlus, Tops, IG, those three, and then the ones that are competing are WE, RNG, Sino Dragon, and Bilibili. So there's one more team. Oh, JDG. I think JDG is locked in. Is either JDG didn't lock in and RNG locked in, or is JDG? Yeah, actually, I should put all the record right now. But yeah, a lot of upsets going on in LPL. I would be very unconfident personally if they hadn't just won Worlds, but realistically, I'm gonna judge LPL once playoffs start. I'm not gonna make any judgment on their team strength right now. There's a lot of upsets going on, and I do want to see how they play in best of 5 series, because FunPlus, while very good right now, like they've only lost 2, they Dwayne B has always struggled a bit like once playoffs comes with against RNG and IG. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. Like last year with the Rogue Warriors, it didn't work well. JDG also seems to... Oh, EDG was the other team, I think.
Yeah, EDG.
Yeah. EDG.
Chinese TSM.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, EDG is struggling a bit more right now. But yeah, obviously, so Chinese playoffs, if you guys don't know, is top 8. And it's like a double gauntlet type. It's like the Korean gauntlet, how you have a team that climbs the ladder. Since they have 8 teams in playoffs, they double that because the total amount of teams is 16 in the Chinese franchise league.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool how it's the double gauntlet, but it's very intimidating because it's you have both these teams on both sides climbing gauntlet toward the finals. It's pretty cool, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of have to reserve judgment until I see them in best of 5 because I have been watching LPL, and for example, the RNG IG series was the first 2 games were great. The third game was an absolute clown fiesta. I saw Karsa just invade, and they got so much level 1 because Ning refused to back off of red buff, and then Karsa threw really hard, and Ning got ahead. I don't know. It was
I feel like China must be such an entertaining region to watch sometimes.
Uzi had Michael, Uzi straight up had 3 or 5, he straight up double killed, I think, Baolan and Jackie Love when he came back to lane and got a bunch of kills, and then they lost that game. They threw their lead. I was just what the fuck? The first 2 games were so good, and then this third game, it's wow. Karsa and Uzi and Ning all just traded gold back and forth. It was ridiculous. So I'm gonna hold off my judgments until playoffs. But yeah, LPL is bloody as ever.
No surprises though.
And finally, let's move on to the main event.
The best region in the world.
NALCS. America, NALCS, baby. Okay, so I mean, we'll go from bottom up.
All right. Bottom up. Let's talk about. Do you want to talk
leagues.
about what they did wrong this season, or just talk about their last week in general?
We'll do the season review for postseason since we need content after the playoffs. We need playoff content, which is going to be rating players and other stuff.
Okay.
We need post-playoff content, Michael. We're going to be in a drought, okay?
So 100 Thieves did the Cloud9 thing and subbed in their Academy roster.
And
they lost.
Yeah. To be fair,
Fake God had his moments. Fake God and Practice were okay.
I liked that when their Nexus was dying, they rushed in and tried to save the Nexus.
Yeah, the old 100 Thieves who just stood there.
Yeah.
I guess he has to have it.
Yeah.
We don't really want it in the first place.
In the actual LCS games, 100 Thieves like wouldn't fight and their Nexus would blow up. The 100 Thieves Academy was like, fuck that. We gotta go save the Nexus.
Dude, someone
and
did the
heated
map.
in.
Someone
It was
kept
actually
shot.
so
It was
funny.
like 5 games where all 5 members, 100 Thieves were alive and Nexus died.
Yeah, it's actually funny. So I don't know. 100 Thieves, like their academy, yeah.
Bane looked good. Bane still looks good.
Bang still looks okay. It's just, I don't know. He's still not like the right pickup for 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
You-
is bad. It's just like
Yeah.
he's just not the right pickup, you know.
Yeah. They need a better mid laner for that team.
Yeah. Well, speaking of better mid laners, Clutch Gaming brought in Midlet this weekend with Cody Sun.
He still didn't do as good as Demonte, in my opinion.
So
I think Demonte would
I was
better.
actually, yeah, I don't know why they subbed out Demonte, but Vulcan, an interview came out today. Vulcan
Yeah.
said like, oh, Piglet has better like macro than Demonte, and like Cody Sun though like has better communication bot lane. I don't know.
So why not play Demonte mid and then like Cody Sun bottom?
Midlet didn't do that much. I think Cody did what he could as an AD carry. Like I don't
Yeah.
think Cody it didn't look like he could do anything. The map was falling around him. Lyra got bodied.
Both games.
The week before, X Smithy. I don't even blame Demonte for this. The game where X Smithy was on Rek'Sai, where he just flashed all the Orianna ults.
Yeah.
I legitimately like watched that game and I was like, what the fuck? Like, how do you play against this? Because Demonte got camped so hard. Like, if he walked up in lane, Xmithy comes, he doesn't have flash. Like, he's fucked. Orianna has no way to disengage Rek'Sai. So I thought it was really smart that Xmithy camped him. It's just like a lot of people might be like, oh, Demonte inted, but it's like, dude, you can't fucking play against that as a mid laner because Rek'Sai is gonna gank from the Raptor pit, come over the wall. You don't have flash. You're Orianna.
Yeah, if you push up anywhere past like 20 feet past tower, you're fucked.
Yeah, like unless your mid laner has a dash or you're Syndra who can like knock away Rek'Sai, you're fucked. Like you're not gonna get away from Rek'Sai there. So I don't.
Because you're not gonna burn ult every single time Rek'Sai jumps to you.
I don't blame Demonte for that game. That game he got like just Xmithy dicked him really hard, and then Lyra was trying to play for top and bot side. So.
Oh yes, Koreans playing for Koreans.
Yeah. What can I say? I lost the bet with Clutch Gaming. We'll talk about the bets though post playoffs. But yeah, I have to play Siege now. Luckily though, Will watch that one anime without me ahead of time, so now I don't have to deal with that bet anymore, and I don't have to play Siege with Will. So it'll just be me and Michael feeding in Siege, feeding really hard. Anyways,
yeah. Yep.
I don't really want to talk about Clutch Gaming. It's a bit painful. Hopefully, Demonte gets picked up by a better team. But again, we'll talk about. We want to focus more on playoffs than what's going to happen, like prediction wise. But we're going through all the teams right now. Optic. Clinched. Pretty much, they fucked. They tried this.
Optic needs a real top laner.
They tried this comp with like. So they actually almost. I will say this. I actually think they almost pulled it off. Oddly enough, like it looked like they were getting dicked that Golden Guardians game, right? With the comp with the Kog'Maw protection with the Zillion. I think the problem is they don't have the communication to pull that off. You're playing with two Koreans. You have Crown and Arrow. You want the Koreans to just give Koreans as much solo agency as possible rather than communicating to save each other.
Yeah. Like Juggernaut is not the answer there.
Juggernaut, you can't do that. But they almost pulled it off toward the end. There's a few fights they almost turned. But Golden Guardians, they were ahead enough, and it pretty much was free the entire game for Golden Guardians to take care of. And I think that says more about like the fact that Golden Guardians didn't make any huge mistakes that game, given that they had so many free objectives. So good for GGS. Optic, not in playoffs. Again, a team we'll talk about for postseason, what we want to see from them.
Please replace Dotla.
Yeah, but overall, that's pretty much community sentiment, my sentiment as well. Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised they beat 100 Thieves.
Yeah, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then CLG, did you see Power of Evil's face when they got
He looks Power of Euro's face.
He was so dead. He was literally...
I mean...
Oh my god, dude.
I mean, in the words of Dominate, like, no shade towards Biofrost, but if you're CLG and your second best player is Biofrost, then you have done something wrong as an organization to be a playoff contender.
Mm-hmm. I think the CLG could use a better AD carry. I think Stixay has a lot of issues with, like... Oh, Mike.
Consistency?
Yeah, consistency. Okay, for a second I thought your mic before. But yeah, I think Stixay has issues. I think Wiggly is also shown to have, like, issues sometimes. I don't know, man. CLG is one of those teams that like needs to pick up like C9 Academy or 100 Thieves Academy.
My problem with I'm willing to cut Woodley some slack. I said this earlier, in a different private call. I'm willing to cut Woodley some slack because this is his first ever like full on LCS split.
Right.
And they put him on really, really awkward roles where he has to facilitate the early game as a rookie.
Yeah.
And that's real hard as a rookie. And then, like, you have Darshan who can literally only play Sion or Ornn.
Imagine if they had Flame.
If he had Flame, if he
Imagine
had...
if they shelled out the money for Flame right now.
Like, like Flame was available, like... Fucking who else could you have got? You could have got Kumo from C9 Academy.
I think Kumo is going to be a pretty hot pickup in the offseason.
Even Brandini? Like, Brandini's not bad on TSM Academy either. You had so many Academy options, and you stuck with Darshan. Yes, I understand Darshan is your, like, franchise player. He is, like, the face of the org right now. But holy shit! He did not deliver this split. But we can talk about that in, like, postseason.
Postseason, because, we do want to talk about, focus on our predictions for
playoffs. But to talk about what they did last week,
disappointing for CLG fans.
To talk about last week, though, I don't get their last game draft against Fox. You realize back against the wall.
Dude.
You put Woodley to facilitate the early game. You put PoE and Zoe completely fine. Biofrost Thresh, really good. Six and Lucian, okay, maybe you can do something bot lane. Why do you put Darshan on Nico?
They keep trying to do the split push Darshan strategy, and it's not working because they're not playing sideways well enough.
They don't play sideways at all. They play towards PoE.
It's really weird too, because like every time I watch LCS, immediately when they draft like a carry top laner, I think to myself, GG, carry top laner loses. But when they draft a tank and like a team fight like Raffle Stomp top, I think, GG, Raffle Stomp mid. Like, I don't know, man. Like in like China, in like LPL, LCK, even LEC, I see them draft like carry top. I'm like, oh shit, it's the Shy. Like, oh, it's gonna be insane. He's gonna like solo carry the tower. When I see that shit in NA, I just think to myself, oh, he's gonna get ganked by the jungler and die. Like, that's like Michael. When you see in draft, you see someone pick some shit like Vayne top, like Huni did. I just thought to myself, wow, he's gonna be like 0-3 and just get ganked and die.
There was a point where Huni couldn't even handle the Akali.
Yeah, I mean, no, because like that's what happens. Like, as you get a 30 CS lead, and then Akali kills you after.
I mean, Mark Z said it best. You can't pick these like counterpick top lanes and just expect to win with a 30 CS lead. You need to take tower. You need to smash that lane.
30 CS lead is pretty much going even. It's the Akali saying, I can't contest your early game. I need to wait for items. Like, that's the same shit with like Jace and stuff. So, god, it's so painful to see NA tops right now. Even NA import tops, it's a bit painful. But CLG obviously disappointed. We'll talk about that for the offseason stuff. So let's move on to teams that actually made playoffs. Echo Fox coming in hot.
Echo Fox,
the team that I was rooting for the entire time with my Echo Fox jersey, because I'm a huge Echo Fox fan. I love Rush and Phoenix, and I think Solo is a great NA talented top laner. Apollo Hakuho,
zero faith, no chance for playoffs.
Apollo Hakuho are an underrated bot. Okay, so all right, guys. So if you guys didn't watch our past episodes, I thought Echo Fox would be a 10th place team. I legit looked at this team. I was like, wow, their biggest carry threat is Phoenix.
They showed you.
I was like, this team, the biggest carry threat is Phoenix. They're fucked. And then like, I have an Echo Fox jersey, guys, because I was a fan of 2018 Echo Fox with Huni and them. And then after they disbanded, I was like, yo, fuck this org. I'm not rooting for them anymore. Guess who's an Echo Fox? At least I have their merchandise. By having their merchandise, I can say I'm an Echo Fox fan. Okay.
You have an OG Echo Fox one too.
Yeah. All right. So Echo Fox did surprise me though. They actually came in the upswing and like won 4 games.
They're playing really well. Actually, they're playing scaling comps without making mistakes.
Rush has not been inting. Phoenix has been actually playing pretty decently all split. Like, he's actually done his job and carried. Apollo Hakuho have done their job all split. And I think one of the big factors is Solo did more than his job in the last few games.
Yeah, Solo's been playing super well. Solo's improved a lot.
Solo has done more than his job. I think everyone else on the team has finally done their jobs completely, and now Solo has done more than his job, and that's outshined the inconsistency of some of the lower tier teams. I don't think they're beating TSM in playoffs, and we'll go into that later, but like, I think that Echo Fox, though, definitely like showing that by players doing their jobs and being consistent, that's enough to win NA, even if you're a team like Echo Fox, who like has players who are even below that of like a FlyQuest, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's that. We'll talk about their matchup later. So let's move up. Next in the row is going to be Golden Guardians. Locking in 5th due to the tiebreaker. You know, unlucky Thorin. Thorin predicted they'd be 4th place. General consensus for everyone is 5th place. And I got to say, like, you know,
I predicted 5th place for them, so.
I think I predicted like 6th, I think. But yeah, I mean,
Haunter's playing really well. Haunter's playing really well. Froggen's playing really well.
yeah, I think Haunter's played well. Froggen's
Their
played
solo
well.
lanes are good.
Their bot lane has gotten slightly better. Definitely has gotten slightly
definitely
better.
gotten better. Ole has not.
Ole has inted a bit less. He hasn't gotten better. He's just inted a bit less.
And Contract is still like either he pops off or
yeah.
So either pops off or does nothing.
Yeah.
Which is better than feeding. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Golden Guardians, like, they know their identity, and Nero's a smart guy. Like, he knows that, like, hey, this team, you know, we have what we have. And we'll talk about off season for like what kind of moves, but I was thinking like imagine Dardoch Golden Guardians or Meteos Golden Guardians. I think
Meteos a better fit.
Meteos would be pretty sick on GGS. I think
that Meteos will facilitate Haunter's early game aggression.
Okay, wait, hear me out. What if Golden Guardians took like Meteos and Vulcan and then they grabbed Forgiven from EU?
Forgiven's not going to NA.
No, but he played with Froggen on EU Masters. It's not gonna happen, but like
I'd say top 4.
I'd say that's like the H2K level team, like from a few seasons. That's the 2016 H2K level.
The one that made semis by dodging Victorian.
Hey man, it happens. Hey, they had Ryu, the big Chungus. Anyways, yeah. So Golden Guardians definitely like impressing. I mean, impressing relative to their first 2 weeks performance, because I don't think it was an overreaction, by the way, when everyone like was like, oh, Golden Guardians might get 10th place again during the first 2 weeks, because it wasn't the fact that they lost, it was the fact that they looked like poop, like they looked like they didn't know what they were doing. But the difference between like Golden Guardians going like 0-4 than like a team like CLG or FlyQuest if they were to go 0-4 is that Golden Guardians. Well, I think the difference is that they have some players which you can like assume if they get their shit together throughout the split would improve as a team more than say like a Echo Fox. So I think Golden Guardians though like definitely they were able to finally
they added some solid improvements.
Right, make the expectations people believe in, and they might actually improve in the playoffs and into the next team we have, which is FlyQuest.
FlyQuest is an interesting team to me. Because I think FlyQuest, on paper, their roster is not a 4th place roster, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they had the Golden Guardians thing where they got their shit together before everyone else did in the splits.
They were what everyone thought Golden Guardians would be, like in the first half of the split.
The thing is that I don't think there's enough star power in that team to carry them through to make a deep playoffs run.
Right.
And I think there's a very high chance they lose the Golden Guardians just based on the best of ones. They're 1-1. They're even, you know.
Well, but technically they're 2-1 in the best of 3 if you consider.
But I think the Golden Guardians win looks more dominant than how FlyQuest won.
Right.
And for me, like looking at it, I think I'd probably edge more towards GGS. I think Haunter is probably better than Viper.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing predictions later, but I think FlyQuest is a solid team. I don't expect them to make a deep playoffs run.
I think Viper has dropped off a bit, and I think Haunter is actually one of the top better.
On the upswing. Yeah.
So that's like that goes into like what I was saying before, where it's like the team has more talent, and I think the longer a split like the deeper you get into the split, if a team with talent improves, they will get stronger. And I think that FlyQuest has that limitation. I think their best players are pretty much. I actually think Wild Turtle is probably one of like I think Wild Turtle is pretty great.
I think Turtle and Santorin are the best players on that team.
Right, and so I don't know, like.
Dude, what about Turtle and Vulcan? How would you feel about that bot lane?
That'd be pretty good. Vulcan's better than JJ right now. But since these two teams are so closely in the matchups for thing, we'll talk mostly about them when we talk about the playoffs actual matches. Actually, since these teams all like the top teams are pretty much going to be in the matches, let's just go right instead of talking about TSM and C9 and TL. Let's talk first about the just
the matchup.
So the FlyQuest, because we'll get into these teams anyway. So for FlyQuest GGS, I'm actually still leaning toward FlyQuest a bit here. I think.
Really?
Yeah. So I think like. I think if FlyQuest got... So I think that, like, FlyQuest still has strong enough players. Like, they definitely don't have the star power, I think, to take on, like, a TSM or a TL or a C9 in a best-of-5 series late into the playoffs. Because I think by then, those other teams improve, plus with their talent, it becomes very difficult for FlyQuest to match up to. But against Golden Guardians, I think that it's early enough that they still have, like, a lot of ability to, like... just play well as a team, and then Golden Guardians like still have a few times where like they're unsure of things and they just kind of wait around. FlyQuest does the same thing a bit, but I still think like right now especially with their best of 3 win, it's still a bit in favor of FlyQuest, but it's not like a swing. Like this match is very close. You know what I mean?
I think for me the biggest differences will be in Haunter and Viper, and then Santorin and Contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Pobelter and Froggen are pretty evenly matched.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pobelter can play the scaling Corki into whatever scaling mid lane.
I think Froggen pretty much he won't overtake Pobelter. So.
Yeah.
And Pobelter probably has better team communication too.
I think the bot lane of FlyQuest I would edge it out more towards them over GTS. But I think Haunter Viper is extremely Haunter sided.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think for me, like the more I'm looking into it, I agree that FlyQuest has the edge.
Yeah.
But I think Golden have more of an identity, which is my issue here.
I think Santorin, though, being like a better player than Contracts is more important than Haunter being better than Viper, because the thing is, like, I don't see Viper's like better performances necessarily. Like he's gonna carry, like he plays a tank and he carry, or not a tank, sorry, plays a carry and. Like,
I mean, he carried his TL though when he plays Aatrox.
Right, but I'm thinking more like he plays a role on the team. Like he does his job like probably one of the most solid top laners, and he's probably going to be more solid and consistent than Viper. But I don't think it's going to smash. Whereas I think Santorin, like as a jungler, he's a clear cut above Contracts.
Yeah.
So I think that difference is going to matter more. Especially like as the series goes on.
Yeah, I mean, the more I look into it, I do agree that it does seem FlyQuest sided. But I think Golden Guardians are on the upswing.
Yeah.
And I do think Golden Guardians have a better identity than what FlyQuest is. Because FlyQuest was struggling until they started playing, late game scaling comps, the Corki, the Jinx.
Right.
But like, what do you do if you're Golden Guardians? You just ban that out, and then then you put Wildturn on Lucian, and you've seen that he can't do anything.
But I don't think Golden Guardians has been successful either on like early game stuff. Like they've mostly wanted like more late scaling.
Yeah, but I think their team play late game is better than FlyQuest, in my opinion. I think Haunter has better tank play and can facilitate through his team easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm putting this matchup pretty much like. Close series, what is it? What do you want to say? Like 55?
55-45 GGS for me.
For me, it's 55-45 FlyQuest. It's pretty much like within that margin. Like it's super close series for me. I don't know about game score though. It's hard to give a prediction because the thing with close games is like it doesn't matter if it's a 3-2 or 3-0. I think the games themselves will be close. Like even if it's a 3-0, it's not because like 3-0 it got stomped. It's because 3-0 like the team got edged out in all 3 games.
Yeah.
I think the game score for me is irrelevant. I think the games will be themselves very close.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, and then the other side of the bracket is TSM Fox. I mean, I think TSM takes it, but I think
TSM 3-1.
Here's my caveat: is that. Well, okay. So my caveat for this one is that TSM should be careful. I think is because like I think by playoffs TSM will fix like their issues of sometimes they did have throws, but like as we can see in the latter half of the season, that has not been as nearly as big of an issue for TSM. Like even when they do, they recover. Like when they throw some lead, sometimes they definitely recover. And by playoffs, that should be a fully fixed issue. They shouldn't have problems with that. Now, if they do have options with that, the caveat is that like. That's where Fox can take games because they try to be consistent and stable now. But again, I think you always put the you always give the team that's like taking proactivity if they're like actually able to. If they're the better team and they're proactive, you give them the edge in the matchup, which is where I give TSM the edge because I think they've improved.
Okay, like yes, I'm a big TSM fanboy. Yada yada. I do think TSM does have the edge in this matchup. So I rewatched the TL at Fox game and I rewatched the C9 at basically, Echo Fox punished the shitty early game of TL and like really trapped at Smithy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the C9 Echo Fox game was just C9 handing over free shit in Zazel. So here's the thing I have is that I think TSM is able to get that 3 to 4K lead early game and then do more than any other team in the league can with it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think TSM is much better in terms of it's like punishing teams for being reactive to them.
Yeah. As
we saw in like the clutch game we saw in the TL game. We see that in a lot of their games that even like let's look at TSM TL from last week. TL did nothing to punish TSM's super greedy comp of the Kali top with like a zillion mid. Like we never saw Jensen go for roams even though he was shoving out Beards in every single wave. And they never punished a super aggro bot lane that TSM had. Like Braum Lucian usually should beat the Varix TK in lane. Mm-hmm. So I think TSM's aggressiveness if Echo Fox wants to play for stability late game, I don't think TSM would let them get there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the TSM will force them to react to their plays, and I think that's when Echo Fox mistakes will start to come through.
Yeah, so again, my thing is that like as long as TSM continues what they've been doing with improving like not throwing leads, then it should be fine because they are a stronger team I think individually, and if you're proactive and stronger individually, you should have the edge in the matchup. But yeah, so that's the one thing like they should definitely look at for playoffs. Okay, so can we just say like C9TL? I don't think they're gonna lose to like Fox, like any of the other 4 teams.
No, it's
like, okay. I mean, I guess this is a better topic to go into next week.
Yeah.
But
after the games.
Right, but
assuming I don't think TL will ever pick TSM.
Right, I think
in that quarterfinal, in that semifinal.
Okay.
I think they pick either FlyQuest or GGS, whoever comes out.
Right, and I don't think either of those teams will beat TL because their identity is like very similar to TL, and TL just will do it. I'm assuming in a best of 5, TL's not gonna do some random I do think TL looked pretty poop though, like the last week.
I think it's Smithy and Impact especially looked poop.
I don't think it's because they're quote trying new strategies either. I think they just kind of looked poop in general.
They're trying so hard to make look, Impact can play carries and then just get fucking destroyed.
No, he can't buy the shy.
And that's such a liability when you go into international play, is that your top lane can't play carries.
Yeah.
Also, I don't get it. What does Jensen have like this mental block against Bjergsen? Because he only ulted 2 or 3 times.
That Orianna game, dude. I saw that game for Jensen. He played like he was fucking frogging or some, like he played like Worlds 2017 Bjergsen. He was just He just stayed in lane. He was like, I'm gonna be consistent and like do my job. And it's like, but the map fell apart around you. And it's like.
But Zillion TP'd bottom and got a triple kill.
Oh man, that doesn't work. Okay.
And like, there was a point where they kind of had a win in their team, in their base, when the 4 members of TSM like dove through Nexus towers. They're all super low. Kindred didn't have enough mana for ult. He just ulted there, and they all die. But he waited till fucking Kindred died, whiffed ult, because he mistimed the Zillion ult. It was just like, okay, wow.
Yeah.
I don't get that mental block that Jensen has against Beard. Like, it's really weird. But even in the games in the series, like they had to sub in Golden Blue against Beardson.
But despite how poop TL looked, I think at the end of the split, my prediction is TL will still end up taking it all. This is just based on the fact that like I think that they will not look this poop. I could be 100% wrong about this, by the way. Like, because there's not evidence for this.
If TSM somehow makes it past C9, TSM TL finals.
Oh, it depends how it depends how C9 and well, because that's what I mean. We don't get to see TL play until like the thing. So this prediction like is meaningless until we see both teams play.
Based off last week, though.
No, TL will not win based on their performance last week. But yeah, the prediction is meaningless right now. We have to see how they play in semifinals. So I guess we'll leave it at that. But that's pretty much everything leading up to the playoffs. I do wish we had the LEC format. That'd be pretty cool.
Double elimination has been so nice.
Yeah, I think that'd have been nice.
Double elimination.
Right. I think that's really nice because like then the top 2 teams don't get punished. It also creates a 3rd place match, like a hypothetical, or like it creates a 3rd place match that's like a loser's bracket kind of, which is really cool. And additionally, I think in the summer they have some good stuff going on where it's like the gauntlet replaces championship points. So like, I don't know how the LEC summer split does it, but like apparently they're doing something where the gauntlet is actually going to replace
2nd and 3rd seed.
Right so apparently like gauntlet is going to actually I should look this up right now. LEC summer playoffs because I was watching Hotline League. And
is that tonight or
that was yesterday?
Did you watch the I Will Dominate podcast or no? There's a podcast now.
I was going to watch it, but I didn't know where the VOD was. I think Loco said it'll be up soon. Okay, so main event qualified for Worlds for LEC playoffs. Looks like there's still championship points for the 2019 World Cycle. I was hearing that they got rid of the championship points though for it. No, okay, they're still doing championship points. It looks like. Yeah. Damn, I was hoping they would get rid of championship points then. Unfortunate. Yeah, because I don't like championship points. That's how the 2nd seed gets in. You know what I mean? Like we had 100 Thieves last year. not a fan of how championship points work.
You don't like 100 Thieves at Worlds?
I did not. I did not. I also think Huhi was a downgrade from Ryu.
Same.
Hey, well, we can say like our surprises this split in terms of players. Huhi was a downgrade for Ryu. I thought
He was a big downgrade.
I thought he'd be a side grade, but he was a downgrade for Ryu because Ryu has more things he can do. More versatile in game.
I think Licorice is by and far the best top NA at the moment.
I agree. I also think that what's his face, Pobelter was a much better upgrade than Keen than I expected. I thought he'd be a side grade to Keen. He's played much better than Keen though.
Yeah, he's much more consistent than Keen,
right.
I think.
Yeah, Pobelter much better than Keen. Haunter surprisingly well.
Haunter played well. Frauden played well. Ole is shit.
Yeah. Well,
do you think the drop off of Darshan would be this big though? I knew Darshan wouldn't be good coming into these.
Yeah, I thought it'd
be this bad.
I thought it would be pretty bad. I thought Dokla would be better actually though. I didn't think
Dokla was pretty good at the end of last split.
He looks like he's making so many more mistakes than he did last split is the thing.
Do you think it's because he doesn't have a mid laner who can communicate with him?
I think that's a pretty big problem on Optic right now. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of changes I'd like to see, and we'll get more into the nitty gritty of these changes like when we do off-season stuff. But like just off the bat, you can see like the strength of some of these academy teams, and like
C9 Academy crushing Clutch Gaming in 26 minutes.
I don't even mean strength, but like player skill that like you could potentially want on LCS. Even what's this Yusoi from Echo Fox? I think it, like has potential. I think Lorlo is probably more useful than Dokla.
Dokla?
Yeah, you want to probably like try Lorlo there at least, right?
I told you, I won't sleep on my boy Lorlo.
Well, I mean, I don't think Lorlo is gonna break out of like the bottom tier of like LCS.
But I think he'll at least like facilitate Optic to be positive.
Right, exactly. I think he would do better than Dokla. Man, Optic. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's for more post-season stuff, post-split stuff.
My boy Dardoch needs a team, dude.
Dude, okay. How about this? Before we end the show, what do you think about this? Because I was listening to Dominic talk about this. Would you rather have a player who is super good but has a really, really competitive attitude that can negatively affect the team, or would you have an okay player but gels with the team?
Depends what team it is, though, because like. If you have a huge personality player, like I've talked about before, like Smeb, like Mata, you're gonna get a shit ton of clashes. You saw that with like Piglet and Phoenix with with Dardoch.
Breaking Point.
Right, Breaking Point. And then Loco is also a huge personality of a coach. But so you get Dardoch with someone like who coaches well, and the rest of the team can like be mellow, or there's someone else who can like, I don't know. He can
have a broken blade in your team.
So for example, like Huni was really good, and Huni's a big ego, but the difference was Huni was very dominant in spring 2018.
Yeah.
So even if he would clash with Dardoch, the point was that his gameplay was good. And since Dardoch is a player who respects gameplay, right? Even though he's toxic, quote toxic. Stubborn, hard to work with, right? He's very aggressive in what he wants. If he sees someone else as dominant, that's something he can respect. It'll work more than just words, right? Whereas Piglet, Phoenix, they're cocky players, but they didn't have that level. What are you smiling at, Michael?
Oh, my chat.
Oh, who's
Awad and Julie in my chat. I just see a fuck Dardoch, damn it, from Julie.
What?
And we're giveaway at Laws of Physics.
Why doesn't she like Dardoch? Dardoch's a
Hey, Julie, why do you not like Dardoch, Julie? I'd love to hear your answer. We're curious about this.
Anyways, so that's what I mean. Like, it depends on the players. It like entirely depends. If it's a coach that is good at coaching like these more stubborn players, like definitely it could work out. And if there's
the guy is a jerk, according to Julie.
Cool. Yeah.
But I agree with Dominate though, is that your job in LCS isn't to be friends, it's to win games. And I think Dardoch will win you games though.
But here's the thing though, like your job, like that's the ideal, right? Because that's the job description, but that's not necessarily what happens. Like I could say that like, oh, your job is to do X, but like if you have to work with a group of people, that doesn't always mesh well. So I think it entirely depends. Like if you put Dardoch on a team with really good players who like know what they want, say like a Double Lift, even though Double Lift's a really big ego player, if Double Lift's really dominant, then Dardoch's gonna listen. Like, even if he disagrees with Double Lift, he'd be like, well, shit though, Double Lift's winning bot lane like a beast. I should like listen to him. I should do play around him. I think that's what'll happen. Whereas if you put a ego player like Dardoch with a bunch of shitty players, then it's gonna be like, why the fuck aren't these people listening to me? Like they suck.
What do you think would be the ideal team for Dardoch then?
very dominant top mid team with a low econ
So,
top lane, which was
do you
literally
think?
last. I think if it was literally Apollo Hakuko with like dominant import
Yeah.
mid top, would have been a very good team for Dardoch. So like Huni last split, very high econ top. I'm trying to think who you could import, like realistically import, not the.
How about?
Oh,
I know this is.
Flame would have been great
Yeah.
because Flame is a huge. Flame loves resources. Like I know he
Yeah.
plays tanks, but he loves being the carry. So if you had like Flame, Dardoch, and then like even Phoenix could still work with this.
Oh, that sounds like old immortals. Flame, Dardoch, Cody Sun, Ole bot lane, Cobelter in the mid.
Yeah, but they traded for Xmithy, and Xmithy was better for that team. I don't think
How-
Cody was gonna work well with Dardoch.
Okay, I know this isn't this roster will ever happen, but do you think this roster could win in a Licorice, Dardoch, Beardson, Double Lift, Zazel, or Double Lift Core JJ?
Hmm. Why would you want Dardoch on that team though?
Does he basically the facilitate early game plays and he can play
Yeah,
around?
so he would pretty much be like Sven Skaren when he was on TSM,
Yeah.
right? Where like
Yeah.
now he can invade 24/7 because your mid and top are dominating by themselves.
And then Core JJ loves to roam, so
The
he
thing is,
can work Core JJ.
I don't know if that playstyle would work anymore because I don't think mid and top like get that hard dominated. You know what I mean? Like I don't think even if Bjergsen wins mid, it's not gonna be like I win mid lane and I have so much priority that my jungler gets the shit in your jungler's ass. Like I don't think that's what happens anymore. It's like, oh, I have some priority. We can 2v2 and maybe win the 2v2 now. So it's gonna require more communication and more like mindset than thinking. And I think that maybe it works. Again, here's the thing, right? Dardoch's reputation follows him because we don't actually know as the fans what it's like to work with Dardoch. We can only know what coaches and other people say.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like Vulcan literally today said, "Oh, Cody Sun's actually like pretty easy to work with, like shot calling wise and stuff." And again, we don't know if that's true or not, but that was his explanation. And because we're not actually within the scene, we'll never know if these players like how long. This is something Loco said is like a toxic reputation usually follows a player 1 or 2 years after they even stop being toxic. So,
Yeah.
I would love though to see him on a real team.
What would be your NA dream team right now, Jack? Out of all the players in NA, what would be your NA dream team?
Wait. What is my goal with this dream team? Is to win worlds? Is it,
Deep run at worlds, if not win
players
worlds.
I like or win worlds? Oh, win worlds. Okay.
How about both? Players you like and then win worlds.
Wait, that's
different
much
teams.
harder because then you have to take in multiple metrics.
No, you can make two different teams.
Okay, so players I like team and then win world team. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Spicy. Okay, Bjergsen. I still think Bjergsen's the best mid, and if you get
He's performing so well
Yeah.
as of late.
yeah, it's Bjergsen double lift, dude. Come on,
Yeah.
you gotta admit, like,
Yeah.
when you think about middle like talent and NA, those are the two. Like
The two that come immediately to mind.
Yeah. Bjergsen double lift core JJ.
Okay.
Licorice and Impact would be on Licorice Impact and Someday would be on the.
Like this rotating roster.
It would be Licorice and Someday would be my rotating roster,
Okay.
and the jungler. Hard to say
think-
because Meteos has not looked as good. Xmithy, I prefer if my team was more flexible than Xmithy because I think Xmithy would have been was the best choice, but he's a bit more inflexible is the problem.
Yeah. What about Sanskaran and Santorin?
They're both. Santorin's not an import, but Sven's an import still, right? If it's Sven,
Yeah.
then I have to take Licorice. If it's Santorin, then I can take Someday.
Yeah.
But actually, Sven's Karen's been playing better. But again, I don't know how well he'll do it in an international event.
Just every time I like, oh, Sanskaran's doing really well, and you and me go back to that time of that tower dive at 3 minutes.
That tower dive against Jensen, that tower dive at
Yeah.
Worlds when he walked and took like 3 tower shots from Brippo, and then I fell asleep to the sound. Oh, Fnatic is 10-0 against Cloud9. I fell asleep to that sound. My last thought before blacking out was motherfucker. Like, god damn it, fucking EU. God damn it. But okay, so that's the tryhard team. Fun team that I like and players I like. Huh. Oh, okay, how about this? We'll say like a realistic team with like players that like you could take, right? So like
Yeah.
a realistic team because the players I like are realistic. So, okay, Cody Sun Vulcan.
That's actually not a bad bot lane at all. That's a solid top. I'd say top 5 bot lane.
Cody Sun Vulcan.
Vulcan's so good for a rookie. Like, real talk, Vulcan is real good.
Cody's son Vulcan. Crown someday.
Okay, so there's your import.
Yeah, fucking steal someday from 100 Thieves. That dude's fucking care. All right, Crown someday, and then would it be Dardak?
Meteos?
I wouldn't want Dardak on that team. Meteos, maybe. No.
Lyra, your boy Lyra.
No, you already have 2 imports.
Oh.
Not my boy Lyra either. Well, I don't think Lyra is that awful, but.
Will you take Blabber?
No, not
from
Blabber.
Academy.
Fuck. I think I would have to take like. Shit. Okay, I guess I take Dardoch because it's the fun team, but like realistically, I would want like X Smithy because here's the thing. I know that Someday and Crown both play super. Actually, to be honest, Michael, this team's pretty much just the rundown version of the super team because you have instead of Core JJ and Double Lift, you have
Cody Sun and Vulcan.
And then instead of Vierixen, you have Crown. And then pretty much like my idea was that like Crown and Someday don't have to communicate. They just want to play low econ and be good. And then X Smithy just knows like Crown and Someday are always at the right place at the right time. And since X Smithy's smart, he's not going to fuck that up too much. And then X Smithy just has to play for bot lane. So it's a very one-dimensional team, but your mid and top laner can also carry on their own. Which is like why I would like that team. Yeah. Okay, well, that's pretty much been it for this episode of slashff. We are very excited for playoffs. Unfortunately, those motherfuckers at St. Louis ran out of tickets. I can't go there.
You weren't even in the group that wanted to go. You said you might have shit to do.
Well, but when is it? It's like the 13th. Right?
April 13th, yeah.
Yeah. See, I finished my orgo exam next week, and I do all my bio stuff this week, so I would be able to go.
Yeah, but also would have been like cost value to go there for just 1 day of games.
My parents would have been okay with it. So. Yeah. Anyways, Michael, where can the people find you?
You can find me at my Twitter at lawsofphysix and my Twitch at lawsofphysix.
All right, well, this has been Jack. Please check out the mukbang videos, which I very much enjoyed making because I love eating food. And also, new Hearthstone content coming out, my most successful series. Please check that out. And follow my Twitter and Instagram because I love tweeting stupid shit, and I wish people would retweet my stupid shit. I love tweeting, right, Michael? I tweet stupid shit at you all the time.
Yes, you do.
Yes, and it's glorious. Top medium material, 400 IQ. Anyways, this is Jack signing out. Peace.
All right, later, guys.